Ooh. Whoa. That's weird. I feel like I just kind of popped back into existence after being missing for a week.
He was just kind of out there in limbo, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the dance.
No. That would hurt. The back's too crickety-crackety for that shit these days.
That doesn't work for folks at our age, does it?
Don't know if I'm more worried about my back or my knees, to be honest. But some people who aren't worried about their backs and their knees are the heroes we watch on our televisions each and every week, known as professional wrestlers, and that's the reason we're all here to celebrate professional wrestling. And to do that, this week we've got 2 pay-per-view results. Count them.
Busy week.
2. Yes. It's, I tell you what, one of them was worth watching. Which one? You'll be guessing until we get there.
But it was 2 big shows. You had Impact's Slammiversary on Saturday, and of course that's kind of their anniversary show.
No way, really? I always wondered what that meant.
And then you had WWE's obligatory Extreme Rules, but they switched it up in the COVID-19 era, in the cinematic universe era, and they had the horror show at Extreme Rules.
Horror show at Extreme Rules.
I was surprised when I first seen the actual name of it was the horror show at Extreme Rules, and I was like, what? And then come to find out that really only applied for maybe 2 matches.
2 matches.
Yeah. 2 matches.
Yeah.
That I could put in the horror category.
Yeah.
I guess that's more than some.
Is it some? I think it's a couple. And a couple is probably less than some.
Well, I mean, it's more than some pay-per-views have had for horror matches.
Yeah.
And less than others have had for horror matches.
Yeah.
That's what I was implying. I'm sorry.
And I don't know that I'd call Rollins and Mysterio a horror match after watching it. I don't know. We'll get to it when time comes. But of course, we're at the top of the show, and to kick it off right, Fat Mack, why don't you take us back in this week in pro wrestling history?
Well, Paystee, back in 1984, on July 23rd, MTV presented WWF's The Brawl to End It All. Of course, it didn't end it all. It kept going.
And not to be mistaken with Brawl for All.
Which was way worse, yeah. And that show, The Brawl to End It All, emanated from Madison Square Garden. The special featured what is largely glossed over by fans as the first ever women's WWF main event on a major show, and was broadcast on the MSG Network, a regional sports channel in the New York area. The show's hook was a WWF Women's Championship match between the long-reigning champion, the Fabulous Moolah, and the upstart Wendy Richter, with pop sensation Cyndi Lauper in her corner. The event, which was sparked by Captain Lou Albano filming the music video for Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, set off the famous rock and wrestling connection that would culminate with the first WrestleMania a few months later. The event wasn't a huge success at the box office, actually, but it was a huge winner for MTV, which was a new company at the time. It drew a massive 9.0 rating for the network. Paystee, can you imagine any wrestling show getting a 9.0 rating in today's world? I think like Raw, I think gets about a 1.8, and SmackDown like a 2.3 on average. Wow. And this wasn't a huge show, but it did make it the most watched show on the music channel. Well, you have
to also remember people thought it was real back then. And also, I gotta say, I think of Lou Albano filming a music video, and all I can think of him as Super Mario.
Do the Mario.
Acting really, like, over the top and, like, crouching down super low to get shots and, like...
Swing your arm from side to side.
That's the dance she's doing in the video.
That would be awesome.
That's the only choreography he knows.
Of course, he does play her cantankerous dad in the video, and he's yelling at her for playing her music too loud. And it's really fun. It's a good song, good video. If any wrestling fans haven't seen it, go check it out on YouTube. It's a fun video. But what was this card that brought in the massive 9.0 rating for the, at that time, music television channel? Well, we've seen Paul Orndorff, that's right, Mr. Wonderful, defeating Chief Jay Strongbow. Adrian Adonis and Dick Murdoch defeated Sergeant Slaughter and Terry Daniels to retain the WWF Tag Team Championships. Bob Backlund defeated Butcher Vachon via submission. Tito Santana and Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. fought to a 20-minute draw for the WWF Intercontinental Championship.
Holy shit, time limit draws in WWF. That's
Right?
so crazy.
In a rare mid-match performance, Hulk Hogan defeated Greg Valentine to retain the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Antonio Inoki defeated Charlie Fulton to retain the often-forgotten WWF World Martial Arts Championship. Yes, that was a real championship.
You know, Raw has ninjas now. Let's bring it back.
The Iron Sheik defeated Tony Guerrera. Samoan Sika, who some folks may know as Roman Reigns' father, defeated Ron Shaw, who some folks might not know because he's a nobody. Samoan Afa defeated Rene Goulet. Antonio Inoki won a 20-man battle royal. And the main event seeing Wendy Richter defeat Fabulous Moolah to win the WWF Women's Championship. The win ended the Fabulous Moolah's dominant run as Women's Champion at an astounding 10,170 days.
What?
Or over 27 years.
Oh, Becky didn't even come close, man.
Now, that's if you don't count 4 brief losses not recognized by WWF. Although accounting for those brief runs, it's still an even 10,100 days. So, yeah, let's just put it this way. No woman's going to surpass that title reign.
No. Wow. She just didn't fight a match for like 25 years, right?
She just held on to the title.
She Brock Lesnar'd the shit out of that belt.
Yeah, definitely. But that was huge because, as mentioned, that kicked off the rock and wrestling era, which kicked off WrestleMania, Hulkamania.
Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, it just really, it made...
Am I saying that wrong, that cartoon?
No, that is the cartoon.
Okay.
And I think it...
And then Chris Jericho just jacked it and added a few words onto it for his cruise.
Right. So that helped form WWF into what it
And Hulk Hogan's not allowed at any AEW shows. I'm starting to see new threads here.
Right. What's old is new again. Hey, do you want to know a fun fact about Chris Jericho that blew my mind? I got the recent PWI magazine, and they do the annual PWI awards, which are voted on by the readers of PWI. So it's fans that do it.
Yeah.
Most devastating finisher went to the Judas Effect. It's like, how the fuck did that happen? Like, a lot of it made a lot of sense to me. I agreed with a lot of it.
It usually looks good when he does it, but I just can't.
But it's still just a back elbow.
The velocity into it was spinning, though. You got to think ballet physics.
This in the
It's
classic
not, to me, it's not an impressive finisher. But
this isn't ballet.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same as what the fuck's his nuts? The discus clothesline. It's the same exact thing, except instead of a forearm, it's an elbow. And I think an elbow hurts a little bit worse. So let's talk about Luke Harper for a minute.
Whoever said that was a devastating maneuver?
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, and people.
As the most devastating maneuver?
No, you got to drop somebody on their neck for the most devastating maneuver.
I know, there's a lot of maneuvers out there. As Vince McMahon would say back in the day.
I can understand how the Judas elbow, if like done in real life, could hit you like a fucking ton of bricks. Because I think I could pull that off and knock somebody out pretty easy.
In real life, it would fuck you up, but at the same time, in real life, like a DDT would fuck you up way more than that.
Yeah.
Or even just a thrust to throat, which
Plus,
is
we live in an era where people kick out of tombstones and F5s.
Yeah,
and...
I just found that interesting. You know, they
I
gave him
don't
the
agree.
MVP. They gave him the MVP of 2019. I'm like, I can see that Jericho
Yeah.
MVP 2019. They had a lot of results I agreed with.
He is like the brand ambassador for AEW, really, when it comes to getting the casuals and the WWE.
AEW must really be getting over with the wrestling audience, because not only did that get the most devastating finisher, but most attractive female in wrestling went to Brandy Rhodes, and most attractive male went to Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes is the most.
I was like, wow.
What?
In a world where
have you
Johnny
seen
Gargano,
Finn Balor?
Ricochet, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, all these people exist. Adam Cole. I'm like, these are all really sexy guys. How did Cody Rhodes?
He paid a lot of money for that.
And that's after he got that tattoo. Like, he has to lose points for that tattoo. Come on.
It's pretty dumb, especially like it's 2020, man. I don't think any of us are that proud to be American right now.
Yeah, it was. It's fun. I like reading my PWI, and I like the awards ones because, again, it's by fans, so
it's cool because you can guess what flavor crack they're smoking this week.
Exactly.
That is fun, though. No, I don't. Most devastating maneuver. That's got to be what? Kevin Owens' package powerbomb? That's pretty good.
I always go back to, I guess, any brain buster is probably the most devastating, but if you're looking like in practice that's done regularly, I guess I don't know what. I haven't watched a lot of wrestling for so long. I don't know what's done regularly, but
right. It's hard to even say, like, if you think about submissions, like, what's the most devastating submission? Because they're all like, nobody owns them like they used to anymore.
No, it's not like lock them in and then they tap out right away sort of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
It's you lock them in 7 times in a match.
Yeah.
And they fight to the ropes every time or something.
Yeah.
It's a different world. Not necessarily worse, not necessarily better, but different. With that being said, though, Paystee, this is a...
Most devastating finishing maneuver goes to La Parka.
For his leg drop or for what?
The move that killed him.
Oh, huh? La Parka's alive.
Wait, which one? L.A. Park, then. The original. We talked about him dying after he did that fucking dive out the ring. And
oh, the not original La Parka.
yeah, there you go.
Not original La Parka.
There you go.
The fake
one.
La Parka. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, either that or you could go with the 619 that killed Pero Egawa. You know, when Rey Mysterio killed Pero Egawa.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a devastating finisher. You know, shit.
Woo. Well, let us know what you think the most devastating finisher is at facebook.com/Beefsticks Podcast. We're awaiting your words so we can know that you listen.
So we can. Basically, something else that's moving into a new time, a new era. Impact Slammiversary kind of mixed the old and the new in a very delicious match.
God, I almost want to do these pay-per-views in reverse order just because.
Do you want to?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. I'm going to be honest with everybody listening at home. I did not catch either of these pay-per-views. It's my fault, my bad.
I did for once.
It's a waste. I'm sorry. I'm usually dependent to watch, 1 or 2 of them, and I didn't. But Paystee, yeah, you came through for us, so you're going to kind of give us the rundown, and I'm going to give my opinion just based on what's on paper and from what I've heard from you and others.
All right. So we're kicking it off with the horror show at Extreme Rules, and it was not great.
It was extremely not great.
The kickoff show saw Kevin Owens defeating Murphy in a match that I did not watch, so I cannot comment on.
No.
And then we had a tables match